our game is now loading up. Tied up 2-2 in this best of 7. Stats versus Serral. Stats representing Korea. Serral fighting for the world. Let's go.
In the upper right, in the red, our Korean Protoss player. He is.
Splice. Stats.
In the bottom left, in the blue, our Zerg player from Finland. He is.
NC Sports. Serral.
But Stats is not doing anything too aggressive as of yet. He got the Robo and the Twilight, but instead of going right into Archon drops, he's making an Immortal, he's getting a Forge, he's going Templar Archives. It seems like he's building up to a later game here.
Yeah, it almost looks like Stats was trying to telegraph out to Serral a pressure build when actually he just went right into the Immortal. And he's just roamed on out and is taking a third base. But what's funny is Serral actually was quite bold, as you were saying, Artosis. He's not taking that free base that he could have taken early on. Now, why is that important? Because that means Serral can take a fourth base for free later on.
Yeah, there's always that free base, and the later you take it, if you haven't been punished for that, that's more dangerous for your opponent. So this has been very interesting the way that both of these guys have gone. It's like Stats is playing actually very safe against any sort of Roach play. Like, for instance, these Roaches moving out, won't do a single thing. Nothing at all. There's already a couple of Mortals. There's about to be a Prism. There's an Archon. There's, an Oracle. Stats can't be hurt at the moment. But Serral is setting himself up for an explosive 4-base economy. Now, this is Serral's next move, right? He's got his Roaches. He's got his Hydras. His economy's looking very strong. He's made a bunch of drop Overlords. Zergs just absolutely love this type of play right now. You start putting on pressure everywhere, especially as the Protoss is getting ready to take a fourth base, and you're threatening these drops that can do so much damage. Now, will Stats see this incoming? Because you have to be ready for it.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of different ways that you can try to execute this. What you want to do is try to get the Protoss army out of position. They can do things like recall, but overall, Immortals and Archons are not actually that fast. So once you get them on the wrong footing, that could be the moment when you try to exploit that. So the Oracle, I think this was the wise decision to tag that, so you can try to keep tabs on it.
That is a big tag right there, and he's got units in position. Serral's going to have to turn around. You absolutely cannot drop right there. So now that Stats knows that this is in play, he has to watch for it for the rest of the game. He has to be on top of it. The rest of Serral's army walking around this side. That's a lot of Immortals and Psystorm to try to chunk through.
Okay, he's coming forward now. The first Archon goes down. And you can see Serral's going to try to tear down the rocks here to get a bit more of an opening. The Immortals are coming out, but as the Protoss tries to push out, you can see that Serral actually arcs out so well that it's not a desirable position here for the Protoss to try to engage, and now he can edge in over here. Look, he can start firing down onto the workers, and that's going to force Stats to try to respond himself.
Oh my gosh, some good Psystorms going down. Serral trying to get that damage done. Pushing in. Oh, the Psystorms from Stats are real. He has a lot of Immortals firing right now as well. Oh my god, though. Serral starting to push forward. The Immortals having to be microed back.
You can see now the Archon is taken out. There's one more Archon remaining, but overall, Serral does not quite have enough. Hydralisks are never really that good at retreating. And now these Overlords are going to be taken out.
That's really good if he can kill some of those Drop Lords. The Immortals continuing to punish any units left behind. And I would say that was a great defense.
It really.
And look at the Immortal count, Tasis. When you start to hit around 10 Immortals, which is right around where Stats is at, ground units from Zerg no longer matter, okay?
Yeah.
This is where the Protoss army really finds its strength. So he's going to be able to move out pretty soon, but this is Serral slowing him down. He's hitting in multiple locations. He's dropping in the back of the third. He's attacking the fourth. Here comes another army.
Oh! We got a flank here. Oh, and he actually takes out 3 Immortals almost immediately and then dodges that storm. And you can see Serral then pulls back. Supplies right now are neck and neck as both players are taking a fourth base.
He's also adding a Spire, so we might see him switch into Mutas at some point.
Now, there are 13 Mutas on the way, Artosis.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be unlucky. Adds one more Muta into that 14 Mutas.
That's right.
Now. Okay. And this could be devastating. Now, Stats is adding a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. All right, I think he just saw the Mutas. This is really important right now that he does not lose his High Templars. Here we go. Whoa. He comes in, trying to target them down. Some very good Psystorms, but definitely lost at least a High Templar or two there, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, the Storms were actually quite good, and that means that Serral is going to have to back up and respect his opponent. Instead, Serral decides to come in here and just try to hit some workers, get some free kills. The Archon comes down. He's got to be careful. Oh my God.
He even loads up a High Templar there. Very well done. Okay, pushing back some of these Overlords right now, taking some control of the map. He's got a lot of Immortals. A lot of money was just spent on those mutas, so he knows there's no Hive Tech right now. This might be his moment to really punish Serral.
Okay, he's coming in now. We have mutas hitting from all different sides. Storms going down. Serral trying to dodge them. A 360-degree attack here by the Zerg.
Oh, he forces a recall from Stats. Almost the entire army falls, but Stats does retreat with some of them. Serral's macro just out of control.
And look at it, just now 135 supply to 183. Air dominance here by Serral, and he's gonna keep Stats matted down in his base.
Oh my gosh, that is a ton of mutas, 20 plus mutas, but the Prism comes in. He's got the Archon, he's got the Storm. He has 2 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon, so maybe he can get Phoenixes in Phoenix range. That would be a great counter to these mutas. Finding probe kills. Phoenix is coming down. Serral kind of boxed himself in a way. This was a strong move to make all these mutas, a decisive move, but with 2 Stargates out, with Phoenix range on the way, these might not pay off.
Okay, it's kind of a game of cat and mouse here as you want to try to dive at the Phoenixes as they come at you. And the Protoss wants to be ready to react, but we've already seen Serral switch into a lot of Hydras now. And with the Lurker tech coming up here, I mean, this is a whole nother level that, you know, really Stats is going to have to be ready for as this next attack comes in.
Oh, a very strong attack going after that Archon. He picks up really quickly. The rest of the army coming over, and Serral does have to back up for now. And now Phoenix range is done. He's chasing down the mutas, and he will kill every single muta.
You can see Serral's very, very patient. He knows when to attack in, but Stats knows when he can actually chase his opponent out. And there's a lot of losses being suffered here by Serral. I wonder if that was an overextension.
Oh man, it certainly was tasteless. He has punished him so strongly, but this entire time, Serral is over 70 drones. He's got a ton of bases, great creep spread. When's the last time that Stats did damage to Serral other than picking off units he was being attacked with?
Yeah, that's a good point, Artosis. Most of this game has gone on Stats' side of the map. There's still plenty of room here for Serral to try to expand, but these Phoenixes are now a new problem. It's almost as if it's Stats' turn to try to have some air dominance and do some damage, but this Lurker push that's coming up, this is going to be a totally different problem, especially if Serral can find the right angle to push into. Seems like there's some vulnerability over there at that center right location, but
yeah, I think you're right about that.
Actually,
that
I'm sorry,
might
he's
be the
going to set up
weakest
an attack
location.
in 2 spots. So he's going to see which one is lighter and hit, and as the other army comes down there to try to protect it, he's going to attack in. So that's the decoy attack. Here's the real one coming up. He's going to push in here, and there's really not that much to defend.
He's going to get that Nexus and all the buildings, so that's actually a lot of money gone for Stats. He needs another base badly, but Stats flies in, picks up these Lurkers, and is really punishing the more expensive army.
This is actually kind of crazy because he got the Nexus, but was it worth losing that many units? Meanwhile, Serral's going to try to push forward here. Again, he wants to be careful. He already overextended in this spot on the map earlier. Oh, look at this. This is so cute. There's one Lurker going to sneak over here.
Yeah, he wants to get a bunch of probes. Unfortunately for him, not that many probes down here.
Well,
oh, wait a minute. No detection.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. 7 probes?
That's so funny. We don't normally see little little concepts like that used in super late games, so it's still kind of an even game. And you're right, Serral keeps sandbagging the progress here of Stats. And here we have another attack coming up.
Oh, big Psy Storms go out right there. A lot of Lurkers burrowing back there at the 4th base. The 4th base taking a ton of damage right now. He is clearing up the bottom part of the army, but what about that top part attacking his Nexus?
The Nexus is getting lower. These Lurkers are edging in behind the minerals. The Hydras are rotating up here.
Oh, a lot of Psy Storms going down once again, but those Lurker Spines are doing a lot of damage to these Archons. Finally, Stats tries to bust through, and the Hydras have to turn around and run. He saves his Nexus.
Yeah, that was very nicely done there by Stats. He held that off pretty easily. It's going to be a good minute before Serral can actually try to remake his army. Here's a big counterattack here from Stats. Let's see if he can make this work. He's bringing pretty much everything.
Okay, he finally feels like it is time to move out. He has that 5th base up. If he can mine from it while putting pressure on Serral, that's going to be huge. Here Serral comes. He's actually picking off part of the army here, but some Psy Storm comes up and saves it.
Meanwhile, the mothership is pushing through here at the top. Serral needs to defend both of these locations. This is going to be very difficult decision making. And it looks like now Serral is going to try to fend off this attack here at the bottom. The Archon is getting low enough. As long as he can stay out of Psy Storms, and these storms right now are hitting pretty well.
I can't believe Stats is attacking 2 different locations like this. He looks like Serral looked for the early parts of the game, but he is using super high-tech units right now to do it.
By the way, we're in our longest game so far. It's at 20 minutes. And you can see Serral, Stats is roaming. He's been on creep this whole time. So definitely uncomfortable, but it's also keeping Serral very honest.
Yeah, it really is. Serral has to just stay on these lower tech units. He's trying to fight as best he can, trying to push through. The Phoenixes come over, and once again, our heroes clearing that all out. But the rest of the army coming up, it looks like he's gonna do a recall perhaps?
Yeah, he's gonna recall some of that, but not everything. And the mothership goes down, uncloaking the rest of these units. I don't think there's enough Hydras here, Artosis.
Well, I don't know about that. It looks like a couple lurkers on the low ground there, though, and they do re-burrow, killing off a few of these Zealots. Stats trying to move forward still.
I think you can now see that we're at a point in time where Stats is actually in the middle of where the rally points are, so it's trickier here for Serral to assemble an army and try to fight this. Serral has to win this fight over here, or he could lose this game.
Oh man, these Archons are starting to get very low. The Phoenixes are flying in. Another set of Zealots rushing up as well. Can he actually break through? Serral microing his heart out.
He's trying to back up. He has now pressure on the hatchery over here. The Zealots are continuing to chase him away. Serral needs to hold this attack off or he will lose this game for sure.
Ooh.
He needs to save this hatchery.
Oh my gosh, that hatchery looks like it will be picked off. The Hydras turn around once again. The Phoenixes lifting some of them up. Another rally of Zealots come in. Serral push the edge. GG! Stats wins in game number 5.
That was great.